XRP price has not hit $1 since 2021, but this could definitely change in Q4. In today's video, we're going to be exploring XRP to $1. We're also going to dive into Ripple will unlock 1 billion XRP on August 1st, what to expect. So August 1st is coming out to be a massive day, the unlock plus another closed door meeting, which was supposed to be on July 25th. So we got big news coming. We're also going to be covering Nansen, and Nansen's analyst says Bitcoin investors should become risk on, and here's why. So essentially calling for more bullishness in the market. And we will finish up with the article, XRP price hasn't seen $1 since 2021. We're going to go into a lot of details on this. Also, some exciting news over here on the XRP charts themselves. If you're feeling blessed and bullish, let us know down in the comments. Click that 777 in the comment section. Also, if you're going to be the first millionaire in your family, confirm it by clicking that subscribe button below. Before we dive in, please note that the opinions in this video are for informational and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments, including cryptocurrencies, carry risks of potential losses, and always do your own research and consult a licensed financial advisor. We are not financial advisors, and relying on our content for financial decisions is at your own risk. By watching, you agree that we are not responsible for any losses or damages, and we do not guarantee specific results or outcomes. Some links below may be affiliate links, and we earn commissions, which helps support value-based videos like this. And then we also hold positions in some discussed cryptocurrencies because we only talk about what we believe in. However, this should not be interpreted as a recommendation for you to do the same. With that being said, let's dive right into the video. As you can see, we do have that massive triangle that everyone's been talking about. There is also a second triangle if you drew. So if we go from this tip here, which was the January 8th of 2018, and draw the line to here, which is the April 12th, 2021, and we connect that ray here, which is March 18th of 2024, we can see we've now broken out of that triangle. So we go from here. This is the triangle pattern here. We broke out of it last week. We currently have 5 days, 21 hours left in this new candle. Also, a lot of people were talking about the previous candle, which was from April 12th, drawn down to this tip here, which was July 10th of 2023. We broke out of that way back here on March 18th, came back down below it, had a really tough time getting out of it. Let's zoom in on this. So you can see right here, we're just riding that trend line, broke that trend line. Now we are above the secondary trend line. So as we can see, the bottom has been historic. This one's bottom has been coming to us from December 28th of 2020. And the whole time that trend line has continued to be held strong with its most recent tap just a couple of weeks ago here on July 1st. Now we're heading into August 1st. We are going to be seeing a very large unlocking of XRP. So let's go take a look at that. We'll come back to the chart. On April 1st, the company will unlock another 1 billion XRP from the initial distribution, potentially creating relevant selling pressure. Now, the timing is kind of unfortunate because if they're going to unlock it, there's a couple of things here. We can see on this massive push up, this was back on July 10th, 2023. Left a big fair value gap. For those of you that watch and see me talking about charting, fair value gaps are very vital. This one came and cleared out all of the fair value gap. Now, what we have here is we have a fair value gap here. And we also have a tiny one here. All right, so now here's what I'm talking about with fair value gaps and why they're important. So as we can see here, in the past, these were fair value gaps. These were fair value gaps. All of them got mitigated, right? So this price ran all the way up here, even though, so check this out. Back here, there was a fair value gap all the way down here. Price ran, came all the way back down, mitigated that out. So what we have here to the upside, which is also a really good thing, which we'll cover in the article about getting to $1. But we can see right here, we have a very bullish fair value gap. We're on the weekly charts right now. And this fair value gap is at $1.09, $1.10 area. But the only reason why I wanted to bring this up right now is because even though we have broken out of this candle, And out of this triangle, right? So we had the candle breakout, two in a row. These are pretty weak candles as of right now. Fair value gap right down here. And then there's a pretty large fair value gap down here back to 50 cent level. So am I going to be mad if they unlock these tokens on August 1st and then they sell some of them, which they probably will, because now we also know that this closed door meeting is going to be held August 1st. If we come into a settlement and there's millions, hundreds of millions of dollars due for the settlement, will they sell that XRP? Yeah, they would. I mean, obviously, if that is the finalization of it, and then what happens? Boom, we have a crash down into the fair value gaps, clear this out. But look what happens to the upside. Absolute rocket ship. Okay, so if this happens, comes down and fills this in, but then boom, we are on our way back to the upside. So it's always interesting to see how news correlates with charts and how things can happen. So Ripple has done these unlocks every month since implementing the escrow, and you may or may not have heard this. I know some of you guys are relatively new to the XRP market, the excitement. You just joined us here in the channel. By the way, make sure you click that subscribe button if you are new. But they do unlock every single month since 2017, locking 55 billion XRP. Right now, around 44 billion XRP are still locked into these escrows, waiting to enter circulation through Ripple sell-offs. Now, before some of you guys get all up in a hissy-tissy here, the new escrows will end July 31st, releasing the tokens with a 600 million nominal value by press time. Okay, would that pay a $500 million lawsuit settlement? Yeah, it would. However, Ripple may relock the most part of it, as happened in previous months. So if you've been around the XRP, when Ripple does unlock these from the escrow, generally they will relock a bulk of them. So last month, Ripple unlocked 1 billion in July, and they sent 200 million to its treasury account, Ripple One, and then they relocked 800 million of those tokens. So that was a great month for us because they weren't dumping on the community. And if we take a look here, monthly escrow, Ripple XRP for July of 2024, escrow release was 1 billion tokens. 500 million went to this wallet. 500 million went here. And just so you're aware, we'll go ahead and show this. Monthly escrow is here, the release. Payment was received into the two different wallets. Liquid balance in those wallets was 500 million on the 25 wallet and 500 million on 24. Then 500 million was sent to, or out of the 500 million, 200 million XRP was sent to Ripple One, and 300 million was sent to Ripple 12. On the bottom side here, Ripple 13 received 500 million. Then from this 200 million, 200 went to Ripple One's wallet, while these went back into escrow. So 300 million went to escrow and 300 million or 500 million went to escrow. So they relocked those 800 million tokens. Later, it added another 100 million XRP from a liquid address under the company's control, Ripple 35. And this was a similar activity observed in June, resulting in a monthly sell-off of 400 million and 300 million XRP, respectively. So back in June, they dumped quite a bit, 700 million XRP. As Finbold reported, Ripple sold 1.826 billion XRP from its treasury account year to date. That would be in 2024, worth 1.09 billion at current prices of 60 cents, and the asset is down 1.6% in this time period, recently recovering from the massive crash. So when we also open up the RSI that I have down here, we'll notice, we zoom in really close, the RSI line, this line right here, has gotten to the top of the Bollinger Band. And typically in the past, when price gets at the top of the Bollinger Band, it will have a little bit of a correction. Now, this is on the weekly, as we can see right here, but I wanted to show you on the daily, we are extremely overbought when it comes to the daily. You can see it got up to the 75 level. 70 is extreme levels as far as the RSI goes. 50, you want to be at the 50 and above and keeping that bullish momentum. You can see on this RSI that I have here, as soon as it crosses over this average line, the yellow, that indicates a more bullish posture for the price. So with the unlock coming in a couple of days, can we just have a simple dip and rip? We'll be paying attention to that. So let's talk about price analysis during these unlocks and why it's important to you. In January, Ripple sold 226 million XRP in 3 days, all resulting in negative price action for the token. February had a total of 260 million XRP in another 3 days, 2 of which had positive performance. March closed the first quarter with 240 million XRP sold from the treasury account, and they did have 2 red days. Further, Ripple sold 200 million XRP on 2 days each of April and May, registering 3 days of gains. However, June marked the company's largest monthly dump in history, offloading 400 million XRP in 2 losing days. Most recently, Ripple sold 300 million tokens in 2 batches of 150 million each, and the price surged. So this is why I was telling you, does it have to dump if Ripple sells on us? No, it does not have to dump, but it has historically done that from time to time. So here's a picture of what they're talking about. They sold here, sold here, sold here, sold here, sold here. And you can see it started to recover nicely. Sold here, had a little drop. Sold here, had a drop. Sold here, had a drop. Sold here, had drops. Sold here, and it went up. Sold here and here, and it went up. And these are down days, drops. So now the market awaits August 1st unlock of 1 billion XRP. Okay, that's potential thing number 1. But we also have the very bullish scenario of XRP winning or settling their lawsuit in that closed door meeting on August 1st. August 1st is going to be a big day for XRP. So we've been waiting long enough, and there's no reason to panic now. We'll continue to hold through this craziness. But I just wanted to show you guys what it's looking like as far as the triangle goes. It did break that first trend line, and now we're above that second trend line. This could be a retest of the trend line and then rip up, or we could potentially see those fair value gaps getting filled. Regardless of what happens, the thing I'm most excited about is this fair value gap sitting right here at $1.10 that has not been mitigated. So there is pressure to the upside to get that filled. And we can see what happened last time, that there was a fair value gap lurking way up there. That was back here from January 15, 2018. Price came, had this massive settling, ripped up to that area, even went up and created that new trend line section point there. And we're in the same scenario now, come down, it's been chilling. Could it make that rip to the upside? And as we zoom in a little bit deeper here, we're looking at the daily fair value gap. You can see that last time price spiked significantly to the upside. On the weekly, it got to that area and it created this new pivot point here on the trend line. Well, it did go up and exactly snatched up a daily fair value gap there. So if we look in the future, this one got taken out a little bit, but there's still fair value gap left up here at $1.43. Now we know over time, obviously, these are going to be all deleted for sure, but I just wanted to show you what we got up there. Also in the short term, we even have one here at 75 cents. And as I showed you before, we had those weekly fair value gaps to the downside that reached about here. On the daily, there's even a deeper one down here at 45 cents. And there's one I don't even want to talk about, but there is a fair value gap on the daily down here at 25 cents as well. So for those of you guys that don't use TradingView yet, this is what I like to do in my spare time, just kind of mess around, see what's going on, compare them to articles that are talking about charts, and see what's going to be happening. Use my own experience over the years of doing this to see what I think is going to happen. Fair value gap is one of my favorite things to actually use when it comes to trading. So go mess around. It's for free. It's fun. And it'll actually give you some experience in the markets. All right, next up, we're going to look at Bitcoin on the weekly charts here. And this one gets a little wild and crazy. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. Click it over to logarithmic real quick. So what I would like to show you guys here is on the weekly charts. Now, again, fair value gaps don't always get mitigated. But when we look at the Bitcoin chart, when we had the massive pump, and then we had the reset all the way down here to $15,000, $16,000. It did come and clear out this fair value gap here. And then what's interesting is on its way up, it went and filled all of these fair value gaps that were left to the upside. Like this one was left from November 15, 2021. and it got filled February 26, 2024. Now, what's interesting is that there's a lot of red to the downside. And I'll remove the spider line so it's not as crazy. But as you can see here, fair value gaps all the way down. And we can even, let's look at the monthly chart so it's not as like just ridiculous. So some of these down here, is it ever going to get back down there again? Probably not. $2,000. There is a fair value gap sitting right here, $13,000. It did come fill this monthly fair value gap right here, this last dip that we had before the massive rip recent. And that was at 14,500. There is still a little bit left on that one. But as we can see right now, we have a fair value gap sitting right here on the monthly charts down to $27,000. So speaking of Bitcoin, let's talk about what Nansen says about Bitcoin. Nansen's analysts insist that investors should take more risks and not resist current all green signals and narratives. A risk-on investment strategy refers to market participants taking higher risks in pursuit of bigger returns amid favorable economic conditions. This approach signals a high-risk appetite for investors, which often propels asset price rallies. Now, the interesting thing is, the news is telling you we should be super bullish right now. But if we're looking at this, price has been continuously rejecting up at these higher levels, this $71,000, $72,000 range, and then coming back down. We have some fair value gaps here. It'll be interesting to continue to follow what's happening in the news cycles with the election process and what might happen with Bitcoin. Nansen's analysts insist that investors do not resist current all green signals and narratives, including the Fed rate cut pricing, the domination of U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump in the polls, the BTC call put spread, and the BTC momentum metric, which is above the buy threshold. Positive flows and narratives. Furthermore, Bitcoin exchange traded fund flows are increasing alongside on-chain fee growth led by Ethereum, most likely due to the ETF launch July 23rd. Likewise, stable coins are experiencing an acceleration in market cap, suggesting higher on-chain net inflows. Nansen did have one word of caution on this, though, and it comes from equities. There was some correlation driven by certain sectors, notably the semiconductors, which were down 8% last week. However, at 21.2x the forward PE of the S&P 500, it's still expensive. Expectations are high, and so far, markets have not rewarded beats on earnings, Nansen said. Nevertheless, Nansen has urged investors to adopt a more prudent strategy. It entails enjoying the crypto rally while properly managing stop losses and maintaining some option protection for potential downside. And before we jump over here to the article we're going to be talking about today, getting to $1, let's head over to X and find out what's going on over here. Jack the Rippler says Donald Trump accepts XRP as payment method and has received 624,000 XRP from Ripple. There was also a recent report that said he has sold that, turned it into USDC, so that way they could actually use it for the campaign. Trump Coin tweeted out SEC versus Ripple settlement meeting. Leaked photo shows that Ripple is meeting the SEC on August 1st to discuss the remedies and final dollar figure. Sources say the penalty is very modest, and this will mark an end of the 4-year court case with XRP walking away with legal clarity, which is going to be absolutely insane. So this is what I was saying, right? So let's say they unlock 1 billion XRP. They have to pay this settlement here, whatever the settlement is. Price dips. Then everyone, the euphoria sets in of XRP is got legal clarity, and then the whole world jumps into XRP and off to the moon. The U.S. government can't afford $35 trillion in debt at 5% rates with $2 trillion annual deficits, a $40 trillion in debt late 2026. That will be $2 trillion in annual debt interest payments. $2 trillion is about 40% of all government revenue. The Fed has no choice but to take rates to 0% and restart quantitative easing to drive down rates across the yield curve. So are you guys ready for interest rates to come back down to 2%, 3%, so that way the economy can start roaring again? BlackRock just invested $1 billion in the DeFi sector, and they're pumping money into RWA projects, but no one is currently talking about it. So this gentleman here, OX Nobler, traced the wallets and found which tokens they're accumulating. So let's dive in. It says here, I've scanned multiple BlackRock MakerDAO wallets to find which tokens they've invested in. Naturally, these tokens have the biggest potential to pump 100x in Q3, Q4. So the first one is Ondo Foundation. The next one is MakerDAO. Then Link, Chainlink, decentralized Oracle network that enables blockchain platforms to securely interact with external data. Mantra Chain is a security-first RWA Layer 1 blockchain capable of adherence and enforcement of real-world regulatory requirements. TokenFi aims to simplify the crypto and asset tokenization process and eventually become the foremost tokenization platform in the world. APW, Spectra Finance, is the first protocol for future yield tokenization. Safe is the most popular multi-sign wallet that helps individuals and businesses manage their digital assets securely. PindleFi is a protocol that enables the tokenization and trading of future yield. Uniswap is a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange that uses a set of smart contracts to create liquidity pools for the execution of trades. And finally, Aave. Aave is a protocol to create non-custodial liquidity markets to earn interest on supply and borrowing assets. So those are the tokens that BlackRock is currently investing in. And I found this tweet pretty interesting, fun, just something I want to throw in there, a little lighthearted here. It says, be born in 1949, don't have to fight in a war, be 20 years old in the time for the summer of 69, pick up some ridiculous 11 and 10 who's hitchhiking to Woodstock in my Plymouth Roadrunner I bought after working a summer job for a month. She's immediately into me because she's from a small town and I'm the only man in her life who's not her father or brother. Bring her home and marry her. Go to get a job, hired off the street with no experience, get trained. Buy 10 acres of land for less than what I can make in a year. Rent out my land for decades. Retire and sit around in the house all day looking at my collection of boats and cars I never use. Kids today just don't understand hard work and pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. All right, awesome. Now let's jump into XRP price hitting $1. 3 big catalysts for the potential XRP price boom includes technicals, significant whale accumulation, and nearing the resolution of the legal battle. So let's talk about the charts. The cryptocurrency is testing the pattern's upper trendline resistance, eyeing a successful breakout to pursue a run-up towards the next major resistance level at around $1 in the coming months. However, it would need to cross above the 86-cent zone, up around 45% from its current prices, which has historically acted as a significant barrier, most notably in January through March of 2022 and July of 2023. All right, so over here on the XRP chart, we can see this is that 2022 zone where it was up here at 85 cents, kind of peak, and then broke back down. And then over here, obviously, we know that it did happen again to us in July. It ricocheted right off of there. This is on the weekly charts, and then it bounced to the downside. And then here's a picture, like we talked about, it is breaking out of that triangle. They've got it drawn a little different than I do. So besides the charts, which was number 1, number 2 is XRP whale accumulation boosts the upside prospects. On-chain data from Sentiment shows the most XRP whale cohorts have been accumulating the token in recent weeks. For instance, the XRP supply held by the richest cohort, those holding over 1 billion native tokens, the black line, has increased to 41.44 from 40.27 in 2024. That corresponds with a slight dip in 100 million to 1 billion XRP balance cohort, which is the teal color. And most recently, other whale cohorts have also picked up momentum in accumulation, namely those holding between 1 million and 10 million XRP, which is the brown line. So this is the brown, this is the black. Accumulation among these wallets obviously is very bullish for XRP in general. And number 3 is the XRP settlement. Analysts believe that a favorable settlement could boost XRP's price. Furthermore, the potential approval of an XRP spot ETF should further drive market interest and price. Despite these optimistic signs, some legal experts remain cautious. Former SEC lawyer Mark Fagel expressed skepticism about the likelihood of a settlement, suggesting that the case might continue through the legal process. However, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse is optimistic that a resolution could be reached by the end of the summer 2024.